We have opened up the White House and the press operation to new media voices. It's been incredibly successful. I hope we'll get you in there one day. This individual, as you mentioned, is to be Father of the Year, living a peaceful life in Maryland. Anything but that.
Because you were so sweet.
Thanks, Brandon. That's very kind of you to say. And I'm glad I didn't win that race because you know what? God had a different plan and it worked out. And I'm so blessed to be in this position. And it's just been a crazy ride. This president is a man on a mission to save this country. And it's fun to be a part of. Sure. Well, this all begins with the president himself. I mean, he owned the new media, non-traditional media lane on the campaign. And it's one of the many reasons he won the election because he had a willingness to sit down with non-traditional media voices on different platforms with many times larger audiences than cable news and legacy media. And as his press secretary, I felt it would be irresponsible of me not to implement that same media strategy here at the White House and to not speak to the millions of Americans who tune into podcasts and shows like yours. So we have opened up the White House and the press operation to new media voices. It's been incredibly successful. We've had thousands of applications to sit in the new media seat in the briefing room. We hope we'll get you in there. I know. We go. I wish there were more seats. I wish the room was bigger, but we also have welcomed so many new voices to campus to do these podcast rows and media rows and making sure the cabinet is available to new media voices like yourself and is speaking to a larger audience than just tuning into, the local news at night. It's a different digital age, and I think we're truly representing that here at the White House. Yeah. It's not easy when you're going up against an entire institution in the legacy media who is blinded by bias. They may not want to admit it, but they absolutely are. And I have a list of hoaxes. It's another hoax that was manufactured by the left in the legacy media. And they framed this individual, as you mentioned, as to be Father of the Year, living a peaceful life in Maryland. Anything but that. This is an illegal immigrant, a gangbanger, a part of one of the most vicious gangs in the planet. MS-13 brutalizes, rapes, and kills for sport. I mean, these are vicious animals. And he's a member of that gang. He beat his wife, in her own words, not mine. So more than enough evidence for this individual to be deported back to his home country. And this is exactly what the American public re-elected the president to do. And it's such a disservice to the American people that we have such a dishonest legacy media in this country. But we do our best to combat it every day with the facts and the truth. And we have a president who is fully willing to suit up and go to battle with the media every day. And it makes it easier when you have truth on your side and you have facts. And especially in this case, there are more than enough facts to prove this is a man who should have been deported, and we maintain that position.
Yeah.
No doubt, because we have a president who makes so much news. I mean, every day there's news stories out of the administration because we're doing so much. So it's certainly a lot to keep up with. But I have a great team who helps me prepare and brings news stories to my office, to my desk each morning before briefing. And I just read. There's no shortcut. You have to read the news. And I'm also sometimes feeling like I'm an internal investigative reporter here because I see things in the press and then I go figure it out amongst my colleagues in the building about whether it's fact or truth or whether it's a lie. A lot of it I know firsthand because I'm in these meetings and I know what's going on. And but I rely on the policy experts in the building as well. There's so many smart people here who are doing great work on behalf of the president, and it's my job to call them up and say, what are the facts here? What is the media getting wrong, and how can we correct this? So that's a large part of what I do every day. Yeah, 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah. It's a blessing and it's a challenge all at once. Every day is challenging because you want to do your best at your job and be the best parent and best mother that I can be. It's about prioritization of my time, but certainly working for a president who's fully supportive of working moms and dads here at the White House, and a chief of staff in Susie Wiles, who has been incredibly accommodating and welcoming of the family environment in the West Wing. We had the Easter egg roll on Monday, and there was a photo line for staff before the event, and the staff line was it's a family-friendly White House, and you don't often see that across administrations, but it feels good to be part of something. We're all in it together. We all understand the challenges we face as young parents raising children while working these very demanding jobs. But of course, knowing this job is much bigger than myself or even my family. This is for the country, working on behalf of a president who's truly making monumental change. NBC and CNN are always at the top of the list. I answer questions questions, honestly, and that's just the truth. And I let them know that, you know, a lot of the television journalists who work for these cable networks, sometimes it's like they're performing, like they're an actor. They don't actually care about the answer to your question. They just want that viral clip in moment. And I've addressed that with many of them. And it's kind of part of the game that they play in the briefing room. But there are a lot of reporters here who, I will say, do actually care about what we have to say and getting the administration side of things and putting that into their stories. And we're not asking for positive coverage, we're asking for fair coverage and to give our office enough time to respond and to get the facts and the truth from our side into the story. And there's a lot of reporters who do that on a daily basis, but there's a lot of them who don't. And unfortunately are just here to make a name for themselves. But that's okay. We deal with them every day anyway. Man, there's so much more to accomplish and there's so much more to do. But I do think the whole team, the whole communication staff, we are very proud of the changes we've made in the briefing room, which we discussed, and just opening the space up to new media. We've now taken over the reconstruction of the press pool, so who is that small group that gets to go into the Oval Office every day and who gets to go on Air Force One to ask the president questions. We're determining those journalists based on the news of the day, what the president is doing, the policy decisions are being made, so that truly accurate information can be relayed to the American public. And we're giving these opportunities now to journalists who would have never had them before. This morning, he was walking around on the North Lawn checking things out. He wants to put some big, beautiful flagpoles out. And he took questions. He did a little impromptu press conference at 10 in the morning. And the press love it. They won't admit it on air, but they were all very happy this morning because they have access. There's nothing to hide here. We are fully transparent and accessible and provide, you know, as much real-time information as we can. He is such a fun person to be around, and he has an incredible sense of humor. He's truly one of them, and he's a problem solver. When you bring a problem to him or when he sees a problem, he wants to address it. Even if it's something that really isn't part of his slogan or the administration's goals, but he sees a problem in the world, he directs us as his staff to go figure it out. If it's something as small as cleaning up a single homeless encampment here in DC that somebody, you know, paid attention to or brought to his attention, or solving these wars that he's currently trying to negotiate our way out of. You know, the president is a problem solver, and it's really inspiring to see him just give so much time and attention to the smallest of problems and the largest of global problems every day. It's quite fascinating to watch him in action. For coming to the White House.